let me tell you guys what's going on before we even start. This is obviously my first podcast. I'm one of those people that just talk about making a podcast and never doing it, and this is the test trial for me doing it. So let's hope it goes well. I'm counting this as the intro, just to let you know, because I don't know what else is in store for this episode. Welcome to Texas Tiger's Tavern, the show that demystifies the world of drinking and hopefully helps you branch out to drink something new. I'm your host, Jenny Myers, and today we're talking about the No Frills, No Thrills Test Trial podcast and everything that I've learned in the past 30 minutes. Hopefully you stay to the end and give me some feedback. See what we're working with. Fingers crossed. But since this is my first episode, I will introduce myself. I am Jenny Myers, a college student in Louisiana that is kind of procrastinating on applying for jobs. But honestly, in all seriousness, I am just an of-age adult. I'd like to preface, I am currently 22, going on 23. That's something to sit on. That likes to find new things, get myself into, try new things, do new things. And this year's new thing, as you might have guessed, is drinking. I know that sounds weird, and hopefully my mom doesn't yell at me for saying that, but it is. I think that the world of drinking is very gatekeeped. Not in the sense of like the stock market gatekeeped, but the idea of walking into a liquor store and feeling judged, going to the bar and, not knowing what to get, not knowing the right things to say, not understanding all the things that go into making a cocktail, trying out new beers, and even the whole taste palette thing of wine, which we will hopefully have enough time to get into in another episode. But I just wanted to say what I'm expecting for this episode, which is what you should be expecting out of these episodes are reviews, recipes, insightful conversations, and hopefully a two-way conversation between anyone who wants to ask a question, comment, or concern. And I will also have interviews coming up with my friends. Obviously, no one's a high-class bartender, but, that's the whole thing of we are all new to this drinking world. Things that we have learned, things that we have did wrong. But then also I'll talk to older folks who have been doing who have been thinking and had multiple experiences that they could hopefully enlighten us on, and I know they would be excited to teach and help others, especially if it's on their drink of choice, which whiskey lovers, they will talk your head off. But me personally, I'm into cocktails. Right now I have a cocktail in hand. It might be 10:30 in the morning, but I think this is considered work. Let's think about that. Right now, I have a Paloma. This is something I didn't have on my set list when I was making my Google Doc and figuring out what drinks I wanted to do. All the drinks that are on my set list are drinks that I think everyone should know the basics of being cocktails, gas station beers, something quick 24 hours place might have, wines just to be able to grab and go. So these, when I say newbie, I mean younger than 25, or anyone who's just started wanting to drink or hasn't found their drink yet. I think that's the most important thing of everyone should have a drink, a go-to drink that no matter where you go, whether it be a bar, or someone's house that you could be like, oh, I want this, and I know how to make it. I know where to get it. But today is a Paloma, which is a grapefruit cocktail. I'm not a fan of grapefruit, so I don't know why I picked this, but that's not the point. Grapefruit cocktail with lime, with ice, salt on rim, and tequila. That's about it. Pretty easy. What is that? 4 ingredients. I need a juicer. That is one thing that I need to put on the list. And as I said before, this episode is to really help me understand on how I need to start structuring things, how I need to start thinking and being prepared ahead of time. Because today I just woke up, drank some coffee, and was like, let's do this. But that's the way to start, right? Hands on. So I haven't tasted it yet. I've took some pictures. Hopefully we'll start doing TikToks, because you know me. If you know me, I'm a support TikTok. That is one thing I'm gonna do. But here we go. Here's the first taste. Ooh. There is LaCroix in it to top it off. 3 ounces of grape juice, 1/2 ounces of tequila, 1/2 ounce of lime, salt on rim, and 3 ice cubes with a grapefruit garnish. Cocktail is a nice drink for the beach. I think that this is one of those spritz drinks that you would get on the beach, on vacation with the sun out, and that you want to drink something, but you don't want it to weigh you down as much as like a pina colada could be. I think that the garnish is good. I'm not the biggest fan of grapefruit, like I said before, but this is I think that the lime and the soda water is really diluting the bitterness of the grapefruit for me, which I like. I could drink this again if I go to Florida today and I'm just chilling on the beach and I'm at the bar. I could order this, especially if it is pro-made. Now, the thing is, when I was researching how to make a Paloma, because this is my first time, I'll admit that, this is my first time. When I was researching how to make a Paloma, there was so many variations, because grapefruit is one of those things that are like in season. And if you can't find a grapefruit in store or that it's cheap enough, people will use grapefruit soda, which would not only exclude the soda water and the grapefruit juice for you, but it'd be a lot easier to make at the house. Just having a pack of grapefruit juice, lime, and ice, tequila, salt. I think that would be nice. That's a nice go-to drink for someone's house. If you're having friends over, I think that is an easy cocktail, a home cocktail that you can make, and they would be in shock that you knew how to make a Paloma. But I would recommend getting the soda water, because squeezing this grapefruit was unnecessary. It was messy, especially because I don't have one of those old school, if you're making limeade, lemonade, the handheld on the counter squeezer. If I had that, it might have been a little more pleasing and less time consuming, less messy. But if you're going to do the grapefruit soda way, then you can garnish with a lime wedge instead of a grapefruit wedge, which would be nice. Let's get back to the outline and see what else we got. History. Like I said, I'm 22. My birthday's in October, so I'm a long way off from 23. But for my first 21st birthday, my one and only 21st birthday, I went to Pluckers. And you know me. If you don't know me, now you know. I love me some Pluckers. Luckily in Louisiana, there are only 2 Pluckers, and they are both in Baton Rouge. And I went with my friends. I've got probably 3 different alcoholic drinks that night just to taste them. Obviously cocktails. Who gets a beer on their 21st birthday? Plain and simple. But I had 3 cocktails, probably the Batman, a nice strawberry margarita, probably something with tequila too. That's really it. I enjoyed it, very low key, just how I like it. I'm one of those people that just wants to spend time with their friends and not really go out as much. Granted, there was supposed to be a party that night. It fell through, but we hung out the house, and that was good enough for me. Bought wine at Target right after, and then came back to the house, and we all just chilled. And that's really what you want for your 21st birthday, is to drink with your friends in a safe place and just have a good time and make memories. If you're that kind of person that wants to go out, go off, sis. All power to you. But for me, very basic kind of person. After 21, after that 21st birthday, I still didn't buy alcohol when I went out to restaurants as much, just because the prices were obviously in the higher range, and I'm the kind of person that if it's not really specialty, I don't think it's worth it. That's just me, and especially now that I know how to make cocktails, I really don't buy alcohol outside in restaurants or bars, just because I know the simplicity and some things that go into it. And obviously I am a business major, and margins and markups and all that are really displeasing. So it's okay. If it's not specialty, I have a lower idea of buying it. Or happy hour. You can get me at happy hour for sure. I have cocktail equipment, I have cocktail recipes, and I think it'll be a fun journey to find something new, to, I don't want to be like educate, but like teach and tell people that there's more than just a vodka soda out there. And if you want a vodka soda, a cool way, an enhanced way to do a vodka soda is probably the better version. I have to produce the podcast, figure out topics to talk about, hopefully make an outline that I stay on, make the drink, make, some short clips to promote the drink, promote the podcast. Still need to make a type of logo, and I'm really not set on any type of structure yet, so I'm obviously eager to have a conversation with my friends and figure out what's something that I need to do. Obviously this episode of the podcast is very all over the place, but I think it's good to show that I don't know what I'm doing. That's a fact, but I think it needs to be focused on the cocktail itself. And when we do interviews, that conversation of drinking, why is it so taboo sometimes, spirits, new wines, new beers, branching out, I'll do with this. Leave a message or question if you're in the Anchor app. Make sure to follow us on TikTok at Texas Tiger Tavern if you haven't already, where you can leave questions or comments and see a video of the drinks we have made on this podcast, like the Paloma today, with all the recipes that come with it. Thank you for listening to let's call it, I just thought of this. Let's call this Tavern Talk. Should that be the podcast name or just the idea? Thank you for listening to Tavern Talk with our guest, me, and my Paloma under this Doctor Who blanket for the first time. And don't forget to watch what we have next in store, hopefully an interview, so I can have a little more structure and we'll build up on there. This is a nice episode to see where we started. This is the before. Gotta stay humble. But alright, I'm gonna go drink the rest of this Paloma, ice melted, and hopefully get into Grapefruit if it's still in season. I might have to find Grapefruit soda to compare it to. Okay, watch out for a part 2 of this Paloma episode. Bye.